All right, we're going live. Are we live? We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another spicy episode of the Sanity stream with Lucius Coal. If you like this type of content, go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course, leave a comment if you think I deserve it. The Coal Factory and the Coal Train on our way to 1,000 Patriots strong, thanks to people like you watching content like this. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, today is just more of a riff than anything. Just the state of the country right now, everything going on politically. Seems to be we are living the last vestiges of Rome. There seems to be a continuing displeasure with the current government across the entire political spectrum. I guess hardcore, crony, leftists and stuff like that are cheering this on, but I think they might just be a little uneducated in terms of what's actually happening in terms of this country. Hate to be frank. Unfortunately, where we are in this country is we are divided in a way that hasn't been seen since probably the Civil War, maybe the Civil Rights Movement. And we are currently accelerating in terms of our spending. We are basically at each other's throats. The entire country is under lockdown. There doesn't seem to be any vestiges of light in sight. The current government is actually entertaining the entire lockdown all the way up until next winter. So that's basically 2 years of your life just completely gone, especially if you're in a state that happens to be blue. And for just some reason, some God unknown reason, you are still locked down. Everything going on right now in terms of the current vaccine. Obviously, this is YouTube 1984, so I can only say so much in terms of that. But for those of you who don't know, check it out. Robert Kennedy was actually banned off Instagram. And these are medical doctors, not Kennedy per se, but medical doctors are now being banned for giving their opinion on what's actually happening in terms of this pandemic. This is total damage control mode by the deep state, if you will, or basically the dying vestiges of our republic. Every politician is basically bought and sold. We have Chinese spies on the inside of the United States government. We have a list of over 5,000 people that was dropped a couple months ago, which basically highlighted that the Chinese government has positions of power in every single area of our government, as well as major multi-billion-dollar corporations. So right now seems to be like a coalescing of globalism. And I think the original way the world was, and I'm talking from an elitist perspective. My idea is that they were probably thinking this: we are going to create some sort of crisis in Europe in terms of the Muslim migration that happened to go there. A lot of these people did not actually embrace the cultures that they fled to. Now you're seeing a bunch of people at each other's throats over in Europe. Russia is, chomping at the bits, everything going on in the Ukraine right now. The United Kingdom is basically the biggest yes man country I've ever seen in my life, as well as Australia. Governments have become tyrannical. And it's kind of ironic because it's coming from the Western world. You would think that with everything going on, places like China, who are constantly berated for being such a bad place, and of course I'm talking about the government, of course they are terrible, but for some reason people are out. People aren't wearing masks. In the epicenter of where this entire pandemic started, in Wuhan, people are just walking around. People are living their normal lives. People have been going to school since August, and yet here we are in America in a total lockdown. The government hasn't helped us whatsoever. They've shuttered hundreds of thousands of businesses, people's lives uprooted, suicide on a rise, drug use on a rise, domestic violence and stuff like that, all on the rise. And nobody wants to talk about all of this blowback that we're receiving right now. They only want to talk about the coof and how scary it is and stuff like that. I would just highly recommend you do your studies in terms of the vaccines that are coming out right now. Let's just say there's some information that came out that seems to be a little duplicitous. Can't really say too much because we're on YouTube. So take out the research yourself. Just take a look at what Robert Kennedy was saying. He was actually banned for actually citing numbers from the CDC directly. So now actually citing government agencies themselves and using that information to give it out to the world apparently is now some sort of totalitarian evil thing to do. Truth is really, really hard to come by nowadays. Most people are lying to themselves for a long time. The American people are in a state of perpetual comfort, and I talk about this a lot. The Ubermensch is a dead breed in America. There is no greater men anymore. Masculinity is on a decline. In terms of boundaries in and of themselves aren't necessarily a bad thing, which the left and these radicals, these communists, and these postmodern thinkers believe. And unfortunately, because of that, when you don't have boundaries, what boundaries actually do is numerous things. First of all, in terms of boundaries, it's actually creating mutual respect among people. But if you were to talk about particular subjects, say transsexuals or something like that, when you start to assign a term or a label for something, the left sees that as evil. They see all language, all media, all art, all anything, all culture, basically anything is a threat because it's creating a shared worldview of reality. And what they want to do is remove all labels so that we are living in somehow a utopian society. What that's actually going to do when you tell men not to be men and women not to be women, and basically there's no line in between, what you're actually going to create is fatherless homes. You're going to create violence. You're going to create a culture that is based in complete nihilism, and basically everyone's going to be breeding on their base desires. Everything going on right now in terms of politics is out of control. The media is gaslighting. It is a perpetual propaganda war. It is never ending. It never dies. The New York Times recently put out a retraction of one of their original posts from all of those Trump supporters that supposedly, right, caused an insurrection. I've watched some videotape on that seems to be quite contrary to it. Either way, the officer, come to find out, was not actually hit with a fire extinguisher. It's amazing how the moment the impeachment's over, all of a sudden, all of the facts about this story actually start to come to light. It's almost as if they were hiding it until after the impeachment was over so that they could use it as a cudgel so that they could say, you got a police officer killed. Of course, we all know this is a total farce, and the media is basically the enemy of the people at this point. We're living in a place where they just lie to us constantly. The fact that people still take the mainstream media news seriously boggles my mind. The legacy media is a dying breed. That's why you're watching stuff like this. That's why you're watching other creators, because you are seeking truth. You want to know the truth about the country because you cannot trust the mainstream media. Here's an example. What do you think is going on in Syria right now? Probably haven't heard too much about it on the news. Very, very interesting. What about Yemen? Ever heard anything about that? We're talking about deaths of millions of people, but that doesn't seem to make the news. And yet, Joe Biden's outfit or just how amazing Kamala Harris is, suddenly that does? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Either way, Syria, in terms of Damascus, Israel is actually launching rockets at it as we speak. They were launching rockets last night. Seems like the Syrians are using those Russian missile defense systems, but one happened to break through, and it killed an innocent family. So congratulations, Israel. You got more blood on your hands. And of course, you can't talk about the Israel lobby because that's just considered racist, or what's the word? Anti-Semitic, right? So don't you question any of our warmongering policies just to continue to kill as many black and brown women and children as humanly possible. Welcome to the U.S. war machine. So, of course, you probably know everything going on in Texas right now. It is absolutely insane. We're talking about wind chills of -1. This is why they have made the just so happy change from climate, it was originally global warming, and now they're moving it to climate change because, you can't keep lying to the people as the temperatures begin to dip over and over and over again, especially when Texas right now is looking at wind chill levels of -1 and -2. But hey, right? Global warming. Not saying that's real, by the way. Just saying that it's blown out of proportion, like most politicians know. They're able to control a large amount of the population through sheer fear. And that's why I think, today's world that we live in today is more of a Brave New World by Aldous Huxley rather than a 1984 by George Orwell. Not to say that the surveillance state isn't absolutely insane at this point. I mean, it is. I mean, take a look. We're basically under a president who worked in tandem with the Chinese government and is basically signing executive orders like a tyrant while he has the House and the Senate. So he has complete and total control over the government, and they're diving into these impeachment hearings, and they're continually thinking this is going to, I guess, pump their base up. I don't know. People are hurting right now. People need help, and we need to find a way to get this country open. In terms of finances right now, guys, I think Bitcoin is insane right now. The Fed is printing out of control. 40 of the current notes in circulation were printed just this last year. Hyperinflation is going to hit at some point. They're constantly trying to buff up the value of the dollar because everything is basically in turmoil, and the American government is printing money out of control, and they're never going to stop. So Bitcoin is a nice little safe haven for those of you who are interested. You can check it out. The links down in the comment section below, or not the comment section, rather the description. If you're interested, I've been using the Fold app as well. It's kind of nice. Basically, if you don't want to invest any money at all, you just use the Fold app and you can get some free Satoshis just spinning a stupid little wheel every day. So that's kind of cool. In terms of health, unfortunately, guys, right now, depending on where you are, if you can go to the gym, I would recommend it. If you're still scared of the coof at this point, I don't know what to tell you. It's just kind of crazy. I think it's obviously real, but the government's response to this is absolutely insane. Chowsky, burn the US dollar, eat the rich. Yeah, burn the US dollar. They're already burning it for us. We don't even have to stop them, Chowsky. They're doing it all by themselves. They don't even have to. They don't even have to try. It's just an utter disgrace. Eat the rich. I agree with eat the rich under this premise and this premise only. If you are a businessman, or even if you're a billionaire, if you made your money and you did it through your own will, I see no reason why I should take your money. It doesn't make sense. You earned it. You did it. You grinded. You were the one who was smart enough. You were the genius. If, on the other hand, they happen to work in tandem with the government so that they themselves have a vast superiority over the market, well, then I think we can talk, because you know what that's called, ladies and gentlemen? That is called fascism. Yes, actual fascism, when the state and the government work in tandem together in order to, basically stack Satoshis. No. Stack US dollar. All right. Yeah, I just, I kind of want to here we go. 13 minutes. I think right now, so health, wealth, relationships. I mean, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, relationships are probably very, very tough, really depending on, the person that you're talking to. I really don't know what to say. I personally have been living my life like the pandemic's not even happening. I've been living fairly Amish in terms of the way I go about my life. If I happen to get around an old person or whatever, or an older gentleman or woman, I will, keep my space. But for the most part, I just live my life as normal. And the more and more people that do that, and the more and more people see that life is kind of becoming normal again, you're giving those people permission to do the same thing. Most people are sheep. Most people are followers. So in order for you to actually see change in the world, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. So if you go about your life living it normally, I'm not saying don't be safe and this, that, and the other, but I'm assuming if you're watching this right now, you're probably pretty in tune in terms of this whole pandemic, right? and not just the deaths, but the way the government has dealt with this, which is basically a total failure. For those of you who haven't seen, Andrew Cuomo is actually getting some pushback, as well as I believe Wolf, and then the governor of New Jersey and Michigan with Whitmer. And basically, for those of you who don't know, during the start of this pandemic, these governors decided to send a bunch of old people that were sick with the coof to nursing homes. Yes, this was their objective. They took a bunch of sick old people and they put them all together. So in terms of the deaths, 82% is the average age in terms of the coof. Now, one thing that is prevalent in terms of all this is diabetes, health conditions, breathing conditions especially. Most people just get this stuff. They get a light cough. Maybe they feel like they have some allergies and they just get over it. It's kind of like the flu, like the regular plain old flu. Obviously, it's way more contagious. So in terms of deaths, obviously, you've seen the numbers in terms of the CDC. They have been pushing out numbers, in my opinion. No, I can't even say that. Okay, so how do I word this without getting banned? So the flu somehow has magically disappeared, and these COVID numbers are really high. That's all I'm saying. Just seems a little weird. Just seems a little odd. We had thousands of flu, the year previous, and now in today's age, they're limiting it to some like 30, 34, couple people. No, interesting. Interesting how they do that. Either way, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. I just want to do a quick thing, and thanks for stopping in. I will see you guys on the next one, and yeah, just working on improving this podcast, making it better. I'm going to start bringing in a lot more guests. I think the way that this channel can grow is by involving people that want to spread the message of truth. Obviously, for those of you that watch, that I really just want this country to be better. I could honestly care less if you are on the left or the right. I really just want to come together as Americans and understand that we are living under an oligarchy that bombs women and children overseas, that basically gets richer and richer while we get poorer, and they are never held accountable for all of the evil that they do. So if you're interested in that type of message, I'm going to bring people on with that very similar type of message, and I think this culture war is definitely winnable. We are just very, very late to the game. The left, especially the radical left, has been doing this for years. They have complete control of media and Hollywood, and most of the major corporations. It's kind of funny because most people think Democrat, at least normies do. They think Democrat. They think, oh, you're probably a poor person, so you choose Democrat because you want to raise, your monetary situation. When the reality is that Democrats themselves are the ones who run all of the media and all of the corporations and stuff like that. So it's a two-way street. So yeah, be that as it may, if you guys like this type of content, go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course leave a comment if you think you deserve it. The Coal Factory and the Coal Train on our way to 1,000 Patriots strong, thanks to people like you watching content like this. We'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Peace. Buy some I'm not a financial guru, but buy some Bitcoin, guys. I'm pretty into this.